Guys, we are back. I am David, and this is the transmission. Something fell off of it. I don't know, it wasn't me. Anyway, what we have today is kind of an oddball. This isn't something, and my phone's still on. Anywho, what we have here today is a kind of an interesting transmission. This is not something that we work on as much as we used to, but years ago, whenever I first got into the transmission building industry, this transmission was really popular. This is a JR403 or a Re4RO1A Nissan transmission. This particular transmission came to us from a guy on the coast and, well, said it's broke and wants us to build it to hold power. So during our rebuild process, we are going to be cutting our own pressure plates. We are going to be adding clutches. We are going to be making drum modifications, sprag modifications, all kinds of different stuff inside of it. But we got to get it tore apart first. So we figured we'd at least show you guys how it comes apart, what all is inside of it, and highlight some of the areas that we're going to touch on the most. So we're going to get started. We're going to pull our bell housing off, and we're going to pull our tail housing off, and then we're going to roll it on its side and flip the pan off of it and get the valve body off and start taking parts and pieces out. But the Nissan RE4 or RE1 family of transmissions all have bolt-on bell housings, which is really nice, but at the same time, it has its limitations because this bell housing pattern only fits this particular model of transmission. You can't take this bell housing off and stick it on a different Nissan transmission and expect it to work because it doesn't bolt up. Bolt pattern's different, so on and so forth. But it is nice because it gives us a lot more room to work when we're tearing the transmission apart. So we're gonna get started. You don't hear that thing bounce off the bottom, you got a problem. 1.170. Let's blast all 4 bolts out. You can take a vacuum tester and test each valve. It's the lip seal off the side of it and destroys the piston. First agenda, take the bell housing off. 14mm bolts. Press wrench. This mighty hammer is kind of unique.
It's an adjustable hammer.
It's an adjustable hammer. Works really well. Grab my 10mm socket for that. That's for some reason. There it is. Okay. Gonna take our speed sensor off. Our front speed sensor. Goes unbolted. Output speed sensor. Ta-da! Grab the right socket. Oh no! Stay. Come here, you little turkey. Now we can pull our tail housing off, lay it to the side. This stuff will need to come out eventually, but right now we're not going to worry about it. It's leaking. Doesn't look terrible. Alrighty. Now's the fun stuff. Yes, now is the fun stuff. We need a pick.
Like this one?
Yeah, there we go. It's like, man, I swear I had a pick over here. What we're gonna do first is we're going to disconnect this connector on the side. There's two connectors right here, and they can be a little bit of a chore to disconnect without breaking, but we're gonna try really hard to not break them. Ah, broke it. Somebody's getting a new wiring harness. Broke that one too. Pickles. These solenoids for this transmission are down here. This is the lockup solenoid, and this is the temperature sensor in the harness, wherever it's at, right there. But for the sake of taking the valve body off, we need to remove this harness connector, fold all these little turkeys back, and we're gonna slide this connector out. Pop that little retaining clip out of our way. Get that disconnected. And now we can start taking the fun stuff off. Okay. To take this valve body off, we have to take a whole bunch of bolts out. Take our filter out of the way. And then, not that one, not that one, that one, sorry. We've got one more. Not yet. Where are you at? We don't want to take those center ones off. I know that. And we're gonna set that whole guy to the side here. The reason that we didn't want to take the center ones off, if we flip the valve body up, we'll see that we have accumulator plates on the valve body. We'll take those off whenever we get to the valve body section. Remove our accumulator retainers for that one out. These accumulators are kind of special. Each one is a little different. We got a plastic one on the front. Two 3 accumulator. 3-4 accumulator. And then this guy, which is backwards than all the rest of them. Also, let's pull the band servo out. It's all good. This servo likes to get stuck a lot. Alright, doesn't want to pull out real easily, so let's take out the pump. Need to remove our O-ring off the front. There's a couple of different ways to do this. One would be to take a slide hammer in these 2 holes and pop it out that way, or we can put a pump fuller behind it. I'm going to see if it will wiggle out just with a screwdriver, because sometimes you can get lucky on these. But I don't think we're going to get lucky today. Nope, not gonna get lucky today. Gonna have to use a pump puller. I was trying. It wasn't having it though. It's okay though. I got a more special tool. More gooder, way more gooder. I hear stuff happening. I don't know if it's the good stuff happening. Ah, no. I'm an idiot. Crap on a stick. What a idiot. I just broke the speed sensor because I was not paying attention to what I was doing. Mother Frenchers.
Whoops.
Whoops is right. I broke the speed sensor. Right there it is. And it's stuck in there now. I cannot believe I did that. I haven't done that in forever. That was a mistake. Well, the day just got more fun. Guys, everybody needs to remember, we all make mistakes. It's not the end of the world. I should have stopped and backed up, but what can you do? Cannot believe I did that. Pull out our overrun, get our direct drum out of here, get our band out of there. This is one of the areas that we will be addressing during our rebuild. The factory band strut loves to break on this unit, especially whenever you start adding horsepower to it. So we will actually be going through and making a full billet band strut, as well as changing the servo to a billet servo. So move our clutch hubs out of our way. Get our planetaries. The planetaries in this transmission are very, very large. Whenever they first designed it, they did a really nice job of making some heavy duty parts. Okay, now that we have part of it apart, we can stand it up and we can take this stuff off the back. Going to start by pulling our speedometer driver out of the way. May actually have to grab some what's the word I'm looking for here, Caleb? Eyelet snap ring pliers. There's a special name for them.
Sure.
Anyway, we don't need to grab some though. I got that one off there. Get our speedometer driver out and save the little bitty check ball. This little bitty check ball is very hard to come by. Do not lose the check ball. Ask me how I know. Not something you can just call down to the hardware store and get. It's a very goofy check ball. Now we're going to remove our snap ring on the output shaft. This is holding the parking pawl or speedometer reluctor on. Yahtzee! Pull that turkey off, and then ta-da! To daisies. Now we have the good stuff out. This is our forward drum, and inside of the back of the forward drum is our low sprag and a bearing for the back. We have clutches on the inside of it. And we have a really neat stack up on this transmission. Not a lot of transmissions are double stacked on the forward drum or the output drum, however you want to call it. You'll notice though that we have a whole bunch of clutches and then we have a whole bunch of steels. Now what's the point of that? I'll tell you what the point is. Because of the height of the collar that is going into it, the splines on this hub are not tall enough for there to be clutches above it. We could move this hub forward and add 2 clutches to this transmission. In order to do that though, this snap ring groove needs to be moved and this snap ring groove needs to be moved. It's a very challenging adventure, but it can be done. I'm gonna lay those to the side. We're gonna pull our overruns out of here. They actually look like they're in pretty good shape. Same scenario though. We've got a whole bunch of steels and very few clutches. We're gonna have to make some changes. Let's take a look at our output shaft. We have a sprag on the back of the shaft. Turkeys. This is a goofy one. You gotta take this one apart from the front. It looks like it comes apart from the back, but it doesn't. Gonna take our front snap ring off. Like so. And pull the shaft out of the back of it. Look at our planetary gears. This is where it all gets a little goofy. We have a sprag inside of here. So we have a planetary ring gear on one side, and we have a clutch hub on the other side. Very neat system. Last set of clutches are right down inside of here. snap ring out of the way. And pull out our low clutch. Low clutch really doesn't look like it's in bad shape either. But there again, we've got some of those extra steels in there. Look at all that extra room. Now that we've got this case gutted, minus the low piston, we'll get the low piston out here in a little while. That is pretty much it. There's not a whole lot else going on in here. We've got some stuff in the valve body and we've got a little bit of stuff in the pump, but those are all minor things. The biggest things of improvement, biggest areas of improvement inside of this transmission are going to be directly inside of the drum. So the direct drum, we're going to make our own modifications. We're going to cut our own pressure plate for the top of the direct drum and actually add 2 clutches to the inside of it. The forward drum, we're going to move the shaft and we're going to add clutches to the forward clutch. Well, the forward clutch down here. Add clutches in here and in our overrun. All of these items, along with valve body upgrades, billet servo, billet band anchors, will make this thing extremely strong. We're hoping that this transmission will live comfortably behind an 1100 horsepower Nissan motor and live a very long, healthy life. So, hope this helps somebody else take one apart. Also, make sure you pulled out your speed sensor before you broke it off whenever you tried to take the pump out of it, because we all know that happens. Have a good one. See you on the next one.